Bill Hancock is the executive director of the college football playoff. He made the announcement of those sites for the future games today. He's at the Big Ten headquarters in Rosemont and joins us now. And Bill, let's get into those games between 2018 and 2020. And obviously, look, some great cities there. However, what would you say to people in Detroit and Minneapolis who might be disappointed that their city didn't get chosen?
Well, I would say I'm disappointed for them. They turned in great bids for this. The enthusiasm was off the charts. The different things for both cities. You know, Minneapolis bid for one of our years, and that would have been the third of back-to-back-to-back Super Bowl Final Four in our game. I don't think we were, at the end of the day, I don't think we were comfortable going to a city that would be in that number 3 position. Detroit had one significant thing going against them, and only one, frankly, was that their convention center was not available. For our fan events and our other activities, the availability of a convention center is important. Detroit had made some nice arrangements for temporary facilities for those, but in comparison to the other cities that were bidding, well, we just decided to go a different direction.
So, Bill, we'll be 6 years into this, and the Big Ten will be the only power conference that will not have had a championship game, or any playoff game for that matter, contested within its footprint. How do you feel about that?
Well, we want to move this event around. That's our goal. Now, of the first 6 championship games, they'll be in 6 different states. So that exemplifies how determined we are to move this event around. It just didn't happen for Minneapolis this time. It didn't happen for Detroit. Indianapolis had previously decided not to bid. I think they would have certainly been in the hunt had they bid. We have not made any decisions about beyond these first 6 years. So let's sit back and see what happens in the future. But we have not decided by any means not to have a game in a northern tier city.
I know you're not on the committee, obviously. You do oversee the playoff, though. What was your biggest takeaway from the release of the rankings yesterday?
Biggest takeaway was that our system works. The committee members are dedicated to the process. They came in extremely well prepared. And I think maybe my biggest takeaway was, hey, there's still 5 more weeks to go and anything can happen.
What was the most interesting part of the discussions for you? Obviously, you don't actively participate in the discussions, but you are in the room and you can listen and you coordinate them. So give us a sense of what stood out to you.
Oh, I think those first 8, deciding on those first 8, getting them in the right places that was difficult. It's always going to be difficult. I think it was pretty clear that who you played was important in this, not just winning all your games. Yes, that's a key part of it, but who did you play? And we did that last year, and I think we showed again this year that that's going to be important to the committee throughout the season.
I do want to say I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, I think there's a lot of challenges that are inherent in this, and our general reaction yesterday was that the rankings were pretty good. There was one thing I think that stood out to some people here in the Midwest, and it was Jeff Long talking about Iowa and why it was that Baylor and TCU were ahead of them, and he mentioned the explosive offenses of those 2 schools in comparison to Iowa, which the inference is doesn't have as exciting an offense and therefore was not worthy of being ranked as highly as those 2. What would you say to fans who found that to be a little bit of an odd criteria?
Yeah, obviously we did talk about the offenses of those teams, but this is not about offenses. This is about balanced football teams. And Jeff said that over and over, and the committee members said that over and over during the discussion. There are many, many factors that go into this, and one factor is not paramount. I'll tell you one that will be paramount at the end of the season, though, and that is conference championships won. We all need to wait and see what happens in that. But we talk about the strength of schedule, we talk about common opponents as ways to separate teams that are otherwise comparable. And there were lots of teams that were very close this time. But don't put too much weight on any comment about any one particular area.
Is it fair to say, as you watch over these proceedings, that different members value different things?
Yeah, no question about it, Dave. We have a very diverse committee in terms of their backgrounds. We have former players, former coaches, former journalists, former administrators, and then of course the sitting athletic directors. And that's what we wanted. If we had wanted only one opinion, we would have had a one-person committee. And every committee member looks at this differently. Yes, they do debate, they do discuss, they do point out things to each other, but at the end of the day, it's the subjective opinions of the 12 committee members that make up the rankings.
Bill Hancock, the Executive Director of the College Football Playoff. Bill, really appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in our fair city.
Thank you, Dave. Good talking to you. Appreciate you having me on.